Mercy, they were in control. And we're going to tank picks for proc. And let's actually pay a little bit of attention here to the tank picks and just the strategy and talk about that, because we've mentioned it before, and the season's starting to get a few days and we have I7 and VZ for Burbology. This strategy here has not existed, to my knowledge, except for more than 5 years ago in any sort of competitive World of Tanks scene, because it was usually either you had Fog of War, Clan War style, where you couldn't pick, you can't see what the enemy brings until you bring it, or it was just a countdown, you just readied up at the last second, and that was what you brought. This really offers you either the possibility of surprise or an actual tactics to readying up certain tanks. So Catjam going double VZ, double I7. So if you're Burbology, now you have to cater your picks. Okay, yeah, we're going with the second I7, second VZ, and a CS. And now we're going to wait and see what their last 2 picks are. Like, what do we want for our last tank? What if, Catjam brings a light tank? Do we need a light tank? Do we need a heavy? Okie dokie. Badger.
Right.
Maybe you counter with a Badger of your own?
What map are we playing?
Proc. The Badger isn't necessarily awful on proc defense.
What are they gonna do? Is that like a 1-line thing, or maybe a back 0?
Either 1-2 line, or at a 6, or at a 8, like in that across the little river. You know, that little divot with the bushes there. Badger's used there too. The main issue with the Badger is the second the Badger leaves its nest, it now is slow and has no turret, and it's difficult to kind of, enemy teams are going to simply track you or move around.
Yeah, I know its dispersion can get really, really low.
Oh god, yeah, it basically is it's just pinpoint accuracy, insane DPM, insane penetration and gun handling. Yeah, it's just nuts. If the enemy stays in front of you, that's the big key, and you're able to get a little bit hold down or a little some way to make yourself not just kind of exposed in the open. But we'll see here. Catjam bringing it. And it looks like they are heading over the rails with their tanks and the Badger as well. And if it does turn into a rails fight, the Badger, well, it does have 4 tank destroyer. It has good gun depression. It's not going to win a hold down war when we've seen these I7s and Super Conquerors and even sometimes Kronwagens, STBs at A6 and D6 kind of fighting it out in this duel under the rails. It's got this problem of the second it points in one direction, it has to turn its whole hull in order to
and it looks like he went with a pure gun handling loadout. He had vents, aiming in and rammer. It looks like December got lit here. Bobbing and weaving and getting out for free.
These light tank players, you have to have a lot of trust in these formats with your light tank players, whether it's the caller, whether it's just a player, because a lot can be dominated in one-on maps, especially like proc, with a light tank and a good light tank player, but you can also lose really, really quickly if you don't know exactly what you're doing and exactly what you're prepared for. And the Badger's actually staying in the bushes there. And yeah, the loadout. Talk to me more about this, because wouldn't you think if he's going to play a position like this, does he not need like a view range setup or a camo setup or something? If he's trying to do something specific, does he really need that pure DPM loadout?
I don't. That's the only interesting thing to me. I know with the field mods, it probably gets down to 0.2, like I almost want to say 7 or 8. It's really low. It's stupid low. It's like
maybe with all those field mods, can it actually perma-track? Because that could be a difference.
That could be a difference, like you're saying, like a under 5-second reload or 6.
Yeah,
well, 6, like around 6 or something.
Threshold,
I've never personally played it. I don't know too much about it. I do know players that love it though. So, really,
I mean, love is a strong word.
Okay.
I love the Badger, but I may not know what love is. Because the Badger does not always love me.
Newton taking a shot here.
You play the Badger for that 1 in 50 game.
Poking like he's from Yujo instead of Maho. What? Anyways, sir.
You play the Badger for 1 in 50 game. Like, the other 49, you're just going, I'm in a Badger. But then you get that one sweet taste, and you go, I want to feel that again. Muscles. Look at Muscles in his bat chat. a cheeky spot.
Just a cutie.
No one can
They
kind of
put him in a place where he can't fall off a cliff. It's actually very ingenious.
That's very advantageous. And
yeah, very advantageous.
On the zero line like that,
if he doesn't, if he doesn't get close to a cliff, I mean, this man is going to game 100 fantasy points, easy for him.
And that's what we want. We want him to get 100 fantasy points, Chad. Like that. That's what we need.
I mean, I would love. Could you imagine if Cat Hopium, Apex Predator, Omega Lol got a reverse sweep on Burbology? Like, that would be a season upset. You know? I want them to take. I would really be happy if they took one off, and I think they would be too, because it would show how much improvement that they can, how much they've been improving is what I'm trying to say here.
So Ad Astra is getting toyed with a little bit.
So is that what he's there for? Because I know the Badger carries a lot of ammo, right?
And the Badger's too big to go up in that tiny bush to see the T100 coming in, and he would need probably a view range loadout. Because when he's sitting down low, he doesn't see the T100, and T100
is Muscles looking for shots on the Badger.
He did the right thing. He knocked down the trees just as
Muscles just trying to get away from Hasu because Hasu is trying to light him.
And so now the Badger thinks he's in the tree line, and he's not. And look at this.
Ooh, what is this? Demonic coming over.
OP's gonna go up and over, but Newton's gonna try to block
he's just gonna. Newton's definitely gonna block him. Come on, Demonic, get your clip out.
Kenway's got to get some shots out as quickly as he can.
Wow, he gets picked here. Kenway looking to get
one bounce.
He like tracked him. He just repaired really quickly. He had that. He had his
one shot of damage.
He got one shot of damage, and then he tracked him with that second one.
That's not good for Burbology. That's
no, it isn't. That's a really good pick.
Very similar to what Flair did in their first proc attack.
Yeah,
but it's actually almost identical, to be honest.
Kenway, come on, bro. It has 8 degrees, not 10. What is this?
Was faster and ready to go for it quicker, and they didn't get as much punish.
He's gonna force here because he knows that he has time before they come over. Muscles is gonna flex while the IS7 is supporting. Catjam actually split them. They made them focus. They were focused heavily on north, but they made them focus on south. This is actually a really good pick. That was very impressive. That was actually a really good call.
At B2, not because of the Badger, as much as I think because of the VZ. That VZ at D5.
They just have to. I just really feel like Catjam has to remember,
and they have to get a kill. They have to. They're down a gun. This is their best play, and it's even odds. And they need their F line IS7 to get in there. They need their Batchat, and they need their T100. And problem is, it's all heavies, and one Batchat that's playing in that dip in the river that they're not going to be able to pick.
And so bringing the T100, bringing a T100 and having OP get picked like that, it's really there's no shot they play south. It looks like Kenway's taking a lot of damage. Instead? Yeah, the VZ and the IS7, dude. If oh wow, Muscles going no. I just think it's Catjam's actually going to take this one. Because
they're in the pole position.
They I mean, all they have to do is
happen. And they have 2 minutes to do it. Them losing that tank on the hill because
the IS7 did take some. I mean, their IS7 is really low, 993 Catjams. The HP is really even. The problem is that tank down. Technically, Burbology is 2 tanks down because like a T100 in this scenario where they might have to push. You know what I'm saying?
Into like once the heavies.
Yeah, into a bunch of heavies and a Badger. Like. Once the Batchat goes down, December actually can work. Look at Muscles. Oh my gosh, he got one.
And he looks like he's not forcing, which means he's pushing over right now to get the kill.
He's probably going to force over to get the kill. December is going to lead the way.
Really fast.
Yeah.
Gotta pick up Hasu, denial.
That actually is a really good play because, like, what is a T100 going to do?
He's just got to keep running and try to get as big of a turret break as possible. Muscles is
he's looking for a back shot. December picking up the VZ kill. Oh no, Catjam, come on. There's only a minute 10 left. Oh man, that is really impressive. They basically used the T100 HP.
And they got 3 picks there. They
did get 3 picks there.
And now Major Payne's going straight in on the Badger because they go, we only have 1 minute. We need to make this happen quickly. And Major Payne looks like he's having a little bit of issues to turn. As he is fighting the ground resistance on the IS-7, he's trying to get the track shot. He gets the pen. He just needs to get on its side and just kind of chill. Demonic has to stay alive as long as possible. And I think his
Muscle just picked him up. Muscle picked up the Badger.
Kill the Sembear and then try to live. And I think he can run out the clock. This is the risk. This is a big, 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 big risk. And he gets the kill on the December. He gets tracked, though. He does repair. And now he starts to run, and he actually picks up muscles as well with the snap. Major gets a shot into him. There's 15 seconds. He just needs to get safe here. He needs to not get high rolled by Major again. No one else should have a shot, and he gets hit, but it's a low roll. And now there's 8 seconds remaining. No one should have a shot. And that will do it. And Catjam, by the hair on their chin, pull off a decisive victory.
What? Also, like, that's insane.
Burbology was down. And they had to make kind of a miracle play happen,
Bro,
and they did make it happen.
They're god tier, like, dude. That was actually so impressive the way they used their T100. Because we were just talking about how they're technically a tank down for their brawl. But then they're like, no, we're not, because we'll use the T100 to absorb all the shots so that our heavies can just pick their heavies. And I was like, oh my god, that is
those 2 shots
200 IQ.
Like that,
those are one of those
low health to be
correct.
picked.
Yeah, and then he ended up picking up a killing, actually getting damage off because he ended up living through those houses. So it really comes down to, like, that's the reason why I could never be a caller, because that was just like, and it's just sad that they couldn't do that earlier, because they would have. I mean, they won, they just didn't win. You know what I mean? They won, but they didn't win. Good for them.
And actually, Harold just gave us a funny statistic.
Okay.
Apparently, Burbology have a 0% win rate against Badgers, and it continues. So maybe
the Badger, a tank with only 329 APCR gold, is their weak point.
The bane of Burbology is the Badger. So I guess if you're struggling against Burbology, I mean, whoever's playing them on Wednesday should maybe be thinking about, I don't know, let's integrate a Badger into our plan. Yeah, a lot of damage going out.
Wow, OP,
on
not
both
doing
sides too. Just jeez, because I mean, so all the guns were so low at the end.
Correct.
But Badger only got 1,300.
Wait, actually, isn't there something weird about Burbology's lineup?
About what?
Their lineup. They're playing Denial, and I don't see October.
Oh,
or October.
That's a good point. Yeah, we have December, not October. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe you couldn't make it tonight, or having lag issues or something like that as well. But
isn't he their caller? I guess they're. Wait, are they using this? Wait, they're using this to get OP used to calling in this format. Oh. Wow.
Well, also the value of when you have I'll go to the tank picking. When you have multiple people that can call, and once you get the format down to smaller and smaller numbers, this is true in 7-on-7, and it's definitely true in 6-on-6.
Right.
Yes, there's callers, and that there should always be someone that has the veto power, is how I usually kind of said it. It's like someone has to be able to overrule anyone at any given time.
Right.
But in general, when you're like doing one of these brawls like in the south there, like if the caller is the IS-7 in the north, he can say like, we're going to do this push and like explain it beforehand if you have the time, but it can't be like T100, make sure you take these hits, and now this guy poke, and they don't micromanage the action. Everyone has to work together and communicate together. So when you have multiple callers able to make those judgment calls and you can trust each other, that's what's important. But yeah, when it comes time for like tank picking, for example, it has to be, look, you're bringing a CS, like you're bringing a this, like we need this or that. So Catjam trailing 1-2,
another game.
Go 2-0 on proc. Burbology definitely, like, I mean, I think it all came down to that tank on the hill. Even though they were able to scramble and bring things back, that tank on the hill getting picked like that, they did not have really an answer to that. If it was just the VZ getting shots, that's not enough. Because even if he lands both of them, because he technically only penned one, even if the second shot penned, that isn't enough. That just isn't enough for that type of trade, because they didn't have any immediate, we're going to put more cap pressure or whatever. But yeah, Burbology now on defense. No Badgers have been detected.
Okay. I don't think you could bring a Badger on attack, because I feel like it would just be a one line, right? They would have to do a one line push or something
bring a
weird
Badger
like
on
that.
Defense either, but I was surprised earlier. But
I mean, we could argue. I mean, did the Badger win him that game?
Aggro.
Yeah, very aggro.
Absolutely.
But we have to realize that
Kenway's just pushing Major.
Octo isn't here. So this is OP calling. OP is a very aggro caller. So now we kind of understand.
I7, and look,
oh my god, Muscle's taking so much damage.
Yeah, I think he took a shots from the Batchat, who will now only have like 3 shots remaining as the I7 drives straight for him. The CS gets shots, and Kenway
getting the first kill early.
And Major now has already been tracked on this high ground. He needs to not get permit up here. But the Super Conquerors and such, if they are aiming at him, then these tanks Denial and OP can
they
just
are looking
just
to. It looks like he's gonna finish off.
It is 3 tanks to nothing.
Man.
And Catjam is down 4,000 HP.
Look how aggro. They got mad that they lost a game due to time. So they were like, hey, we lost the game due to time. So let's just kill them all in the first minute, forehead. Like, you know what I mean?
They went super aggro. And they just said, look, even if they're here, I don't think they necessarily expected the tanks in the one line, and maybe they did. But they just had flex calls after the initial detections, and they just knew they could poke up, and they had very simple turret breaks. Just guns were aiming in certain directions. They're like, okay, they're aiming. Okay, now I can poke up and kill these people. And then that was just it. And I mean, that was just pure domination. Like,
it really was.
Just a slaughter.
It was just one of those things where I think somebody heard me say, cats apex predators, and they got really upset. They're like, we're bears. We're way bigger than cats. Cats cannot beat us. So we're going to go over on proc. That almost, you know what that looked like? They look like Burbology over here looking like a Russian team. Just straight over the middle of proc.
Yeah. You two go here. You go here. You two go there. And then we killed them. Checking the post-game stats, I mean, starting with Catjam, just because Hasu got out 1,500 in his eyes.
Right.
That's 3 shots.
Was he the one in the back?
Got out 4.
No, Newton was the one in the back, right?
I can't remember.
No, he was the last one that was alive. They just killed at the end there.
But just not much damage coming out from anyone. And Muscle's teeing off, even though he took that initial damage from the Batchet, 3k damage, just high DPM, just high rate of fire. Denial, 2,800, OP, 2,500. That's 2.5 clips, so they basically each got 5 shots of damage. Although one of them got 4 shots, and it was a really high roll. And Kenway getting out 2,300 and 2 kills. Major Pain 2,300 and 3 kills in his IS-7. Even December took everyone had shots on something.
Everybody.
Everyone did.
Really aggro. I feel like I recognize that strat, but I can't give him the.
That was
mind.
Just
it was just a really aggressive.
Around. That was an angry play, and that I think you hit the nail on the head. It was we wasted too much time last game. We're letting them set up exactly how they want to set up. Like if we just do this, like okay, what can they do? They have 2 tanks on the one line. Okay, they have 1 tank on the one line. Oh, they have no tanks on the one line. Who cares? As long as it's set up like this and they have those tanks, we'll be fine.